Today I'm going to be taking a look at this Vidonn X6 smartwatch. This is available from Banggood.com. It comes with, of course, the original box. And on the back of here you can see some of the application functions that are supported. And you can also see that it's supported on iOS 7 and Android and requires the Bluetooth 4.0. So this does work with your Apple phone or your Android phone. Now along with the box you also get the manual, and it has English on one half, and then the back side is all Chinese. And you also get the this is an extra little clip that goes in here into the bracelet, into the wristband, so that you can have a metal one if you want, or you can use the plastic blue one. And along with that, you also get this USB cable. This is a special USB cable, so you want to take extra precaution not to lose it. This side is normal, just like all your other ones. It plugs into a USB port or into your phone charger. This side, however, is special, and it's magnetic. And what it does to charge your phone or your watch is on the back of this, there is a place right here where this thing just comes in here and snaps in like that. And it's magnetic, so it kind of snaps into place where it's supposed to be. You can't put it on this way because the magnets don't line up, and it doesn't line up, so you have to put it on this way. Anyway, you'll figure it out real quick when you start using it. My wrist is about 8 inches around, and which is about 200 millimeters, and I'm able to put this onto the last hole on here, which is fine, and it's still plenty loose. Now the way that you interact with this watch is through these little bumps here that make this little diamond shape, and that's the only button that's actually on this at all. And so you push this and it turns on, and you can see the time and the battery life and the Bluetooth adapter. Now with this battery here, it says my phone says it's about 92%, and this is after about 2 days. So I think this watch will probably last about 2 weeks without having to be recharged. But we'll go through the menus. Here's the number of steps that I've taken for the day. Here's the number of calories I've burned for the day, and the distance that I've walked. And these counters reset every day, and so you can keep track of it. And when you synchronize with your phone, all the information is transferred to your phone. Now if you're going to do a particular walk and you want to measure just this walk, you can hold down this button for 3 seconds, and there it flips over and starts going into a temporary mode where it's timing my walk right now. And then you can tap it and you can see the number of steps you've taken since you started it, the number of calories you've burned, and also the distance you've gone. And so once you're done with your walk, you can go ahead and reset this, and the way you put it back to normal is you hold this down again, let go, and it goes back to normal. Now there's no way to capture those individual pieces of information into your application, because your application only keeps the daily totals. The directions say to go into the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and search for Vidonn like this. Now there's actually 2 apps in the Google Play Store. There's the Vidonn Smart Band and then just the regular Smart Band. From what I can tell, there's not really much difference between these. In fact, I couldn't really find any difference. And I created an account in the Vidonn Smart Band, and then I was actually able to log into my account on the Smart Band app. So I think they're actually authenticating to the same place. But this is what it looks like. Let's open it up. And you can see here, this is what the app looks like. And up here at the top, it has the date. And here's the information from today. And you can see the number of steps I took throughout the day on a little timeline. It also has the distance that I walked and the number of calories that I burned for the day. And you can come into the, you can click on the little sub arrows here, and you can get more information about, here I'm only looking at 1 day, so you only get 1 day of data there. But it could have a whole bunch of graphs there if you were searching by the week. And then there's also a place in here where you need to set up your sleep schedule. And what it does, it tries to figure out how well you're sleeping based on how much you're moving around. And it puts it into a nice little graph. When you initially get your new bracelet, the first thing it's going to want to do is connect to it via Bluetooth. You don't have to go into the Bluetooth settings or anything in here. You don't have to do anything special on the watch. You just come in here to My Bracelet, and in fact, it may even prompt you automatically when you turn it on the first time. But here's the search for bracelet. You touch it, and it says, "Are you sure you want to search for your bracelet?" Yes. And there it just buzzed because it got disconnected. But it will find your watch. There it just buzzed in my hand, and it found it, and it's connected again. If you do firmware upgrades, or you lose your phone dies, or this gets disconnected for any reason, it'll buzz a couple of times on your wrists, which is convenient for helping you remember not to forget it. To get to the options, you need to go into the more, and then you go into my bracelet, and then you get these options here: alarm clock, sleep settings, silence settings, other settings, search for bracelet, and about. Now, the alarm clock, this just allows you to set different alarms on your watch, and you can set up a whole bunch of them. You can rename them to whatever you want. Now, the alarm, though, it's just going to be a little buzz on your wrist because there's no speaker on the smartwatch to actually set off, something audible. And also, this is where I was talking about, you set your sleep settings in here, the time you go to bed and the time you wake up, and it tries to make the graph, the sleep schedule based off that. Now, if you change these, make sure you hit save, don't just hit back, because it will not save it. Alright, so the silent settings, if there's times of the day where you don't want to be disturbed, you can put them on here. These are just the default ones, they're both turned off. And again, if you make changes, make sure you hit the save button. This other settings is really the primary settings of the whole thing. This is where you can do your firmware upgrades, set up your source notifications, and the notify bracelet. This one actually works really well. If you get too far away from your phone, or if you get the bracelet too far away from your phone, your bracelet will start buzzing on your wrist, and then you realize you forgot your phone. Let's see. They also have in here, let's see, the time format, the display, if you want to display the time or not, and has a sedentary. What this does, if your phone sits, or if your watch sits still for 60 minutes, it'll set off a little buzzer to try to help you remember to get up and move. There's also a place down at the very bottom where you can change the font of your watch, so this looks a little different than what the default is. Up here under notification source, if you want to receive text messages onto your watch or phone calls onto your watch, you need to come in here and set these up. Now, the default ones are Facebook and Twitter, but I took those off, and you hit this little plus button and it pulls up all your apps. You got to scroll through the millions of apps you have and find them. But like, there's my phone, and then the messaging was down here. There it is, messaging. So you get those checked, you hit confirm, and then they're both checked, and then you hit the big confirm down here. And now when your text messages come in, they will show up on your wristband, and you can read them without having to pull your phone out of your pocket. In this application, when you try to change one of the settings, it tries to update the watch immediately. For example, here I'll change the time format. Well, there's a few things. You change the time format, and it says task queue processing, and you wait a few seconds, and it's trying to update the watch right now, and then it'll say task completed. There it is. Task has been completed. So now I got it set back to 12 hours instead of 24 hours. So the way you're supposed to do the upgrade is you come into here to your settings again, and you click on firmware upgrade. And so what it does is it tries to download the firmware, which it just did. Okay, so now it has the firmware on the phone, and now it's going to attempt to push it to the watch. So I go ahead, I push it again. It pops up this message about the firmware upgrade notes, and I go ahead and I hit confirm. And at this point, it should start trying to push the upgrade to the watch. Now, when the watch starts to do the upgrade, let me turn it over the right way, you see a little arrow like this one here that comes up on your watch. And the upgrade process takes probably about 3 minutes or so to upgrade your firmware. There, the watch just rebooted, and my phone lost the connection to it, so it went back into the Bluetooth settings here. There it goes. It just rebooted back to running again. Let's see if we can go back into the app. And it says exit the app. Okay. Open it back up. And will it connect? That is the main question. Well, it looks like it reconnected automatically. That's good. Let's go in here to the My Bracelet, and we'll do other settings. And even though I tried to do the firmware upgrade, it doesn't look like it actually took the upgrade, or something didn't work because it's still on the previous version. And I don't know if that means that there's something wrong with the watch itself, or probably more likely something wrong with my phone. But again, I tried this with the Samsung. We'll see if anyone else can successfully upgrade the firmware. In this application, down here at the bottom, it has the normal data, which is what we're looking at here. It has the more, which is where the My Bracelet is in your profile. It also has this friend thing. If you have friends, you can add them into here, and you can do competitions against them and send them messages through here, and you can see where you're at for your 7-day steps and where your friends are. if you want to change pounds to kilograms, that's all done inside your profile, and that's also where you set your weight and your height for the application. Overall, I really like this watch. I think this watch is designed for people who have active lifestyles, who are trying to keep track of their calorie count or just the number of steps that they're taking every day. Like I said, the only downsides to this watch at all are the USB cable being a little short, which that could be resolved with an extension cord or just using a different outlet that's up a little higher, that's easy to reach, and the firmware taking. But even with the firmware taking, it's not that big of a deal because I can't really think of anything this watch could do better than it's already doing. So I don't know if that's even really a problem. And hopefully if you have one of these, you won't have a problem updating the firmware. It'll just work for you. Anyway, if you have any questions about this, leave them in the comments, and I'll have some links to it in the comments in the About section if you're interested in looking at it for yourself. And as always, thanks for watching.